Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, bootlicker, shills, debt slaves, serfs, peasants, vassals, minions, meat sacks, spooks, goons. I'm Useful Idiot. Welcome. And a little disturbing report came out recently that has pretty big implications. And that's an account by a Palestinian child who was attacked in a quiet room in one of the refugee camps, just trying to avoid the violence. And soldiers' truck pulled up outside of his home, and soldiers piled out of it, and they came into his home and just opened fire. And the house was raided, and a cigarette was put out on the arm of this boy. He had a boot on his neck at one point. He had his finger shot, and his 12-year-old brother was also killed. And his father and grandfather were blindfolded and handcuffed and taken away. But the disturbing part of this, of course, is that he said they weren't Israeli soldiers, they were U.S. soldiers. And he said he could tell by the uniforms, he could tell by their language. And so this is disturbing confirmation that U.S. troops are indeed operating with the Israelis inside Gaza. So a very disturbing incident. We shouldn't be surprised by this, because in every conflict in the world, whether the U.S. is directly involved or not, the CIA is in there, mercenaries are in there, and special forces are in there. And rest assured, there hasn't been necessarily any specific reports coming out, although there has been in the Ukraine about UK special forces troops operating in Ukraine and fighting for the Ukrainians. And I assure you that U.S. troops and special forces and CIA assets are all operating inside Ukraine as we speak. So part of this story, of course, is the fact that none of these refugee camps are safe zones at all, and all kinds of horrific stories are coming out about people that are just being killed and slaughtered and massacred in refugee camps, supposedly safe zones. But another part of this too is the fact that the U.S. There's a lot of ballyhoo about the U.S. Building this temporary pier supposedly to load humanitarian aid into Gaza. And first of all, of course, there was all kinds of technical issues with the pontoon port. Sorry. The temporary installation to load equipment in this little ramp. But anyway, turns out that U.S. tanks are actually being loaded into Gaza using this bridge, and also U.S. troops are being loaded into Gaza using this thing too. And so anyway, not a happy agreement. What's going to happen is probably we're going to have some U.S. Special Forces killed there, and they're either going to keep it quiet or it's going to be brought out and used as a more evidence for escalation. So here we go. No boots on the ground, but there are boots on the ground. I'm Useful Idiot. Don't you be one too.